work accident that led to his death, and Johnny was heartbroken because he had lost his close friends and family. And Jack's death really influenced his interesting performance style, which I'll explain later. After Jack died, Johnny had to go work in the fields, the cotton fields, because they lived in the Great Depression and they did not have a lot of money. And the team picking cotton in school did not have time for anything else. Every Sunday he went to church with family and friends, and that's when he first saw the choir. And that's when he first became very interested in singing. So he went to his first vocal lesson, and it was there that his vocal teacher told him to never take vocal lessons ever again. Don't let anybody change the way that you sing. Johnny was very surprised because he did not think he was that good. His vocal teacher thought that he had a very deep and interesting voice that he did not want to change because it was very rare. So he made sure that he did not take any more classes. And that was when Johnny first thought that was probably what he was going to be doing for the rest of his life. After high school, he did not have enough money to go to college, so he joined the Air Force. And it was there that he joined the Air Force band. And that helped him perform in various places and in front of various people. That really helped his art develop. After the Air Force, he married Vivian Liberto, and they had four daughters, actually. And after a few years of marriage, they decided that they did not really love each other, so they got a divorce. And in 1968, he met the love of his life, June Carter, and they married and had two daughters and his only son, John Carter. June was very influential on Johnny's art, as you can see in his various honky tonks and ballads that he made for her. He did many duets with her, which is very rare because he did not like doing a lot of duets. It was very important that he did for her. Johnny Cash died September 12, 2003 due to respiratory problems. His legacy as an American artist still lives on today. He's using my thesis, which is creating a new genre of country music that incorporated dark and sadness such as that. Johnny Cash includes future artists who continue writing music in dark genres. When Johnny Cash was becoming a musician, he had to compete with people like Elvis Presley. And because he saw how people responded to Elvis Presley when he was on stage and singing, he knew he had to find a way to get the same attention. But he did this in a way completely opposite from Elvis. And the biggest example is how he dressed. Elvis Presley, he obviously wore his white suit with his tassels and his see-through shoes on it, so he caught the attention. And Johnny Cash did the complete opposite by wearing completely black, all black on stage. He did this because he wanted to see if it would get the same attention as Elvis Presley did. It was slightly an experiment. But once he got positive feedback from it, he thought that's probably something I should do. So it was kind of his signature on stage. Another thing that he did while he was on stage is he would not move. He was in a way very boring because while Elvis Presley was moving around trying to get the audience's attention, he would stay in one place as he had his guitar, he could strum it and sing along with the music. And that was very interesting because it also in a way caught the audience's attention because they were kind of wondering why is he moving. So that got the audience's attention. Also, when he was performing his concerts, the music would be playing, but he would often just talk to the audience while the music was playing. He would sing his songs. He thought it was very important to try to incorporate the audience into his performance so they can get to know him and he can get to know the audience. Other times, while the music would be playing, he would just recite his songs as if they were poems. And people really liked that because they thought it showed a different side of music in a way. Another thing that Johnny Cash did was he acted very rambunctious and rebellious on stage. So I have a picture of Johnny Cash holding up the camera when he was on stage. Now this was completely unheard of because it was all about manners and common courtesy to the press and the audience, but Johnny Cash just did not care. He did whatever he wanted, and he got a lot of positive and negative feedback from this. Also, his music was very different. While Elvis Presley was singing a lot of pop songs like Jailhouse Rock, he wrote songs about killing people and being in prison and doing drugs, which was really random because not a lot of people sing about stuff like that. But Johnny Cash wanted to sing whatever he wanted and how he felt at all times because he felt that was being honest to himself. He did not want to have somebody else write his music. He wanted to do whatever he wanted because he felt that would get the most attention from the audience. Because of this, Johnny Cash gained a lot of followers. One of his followers was Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen began listening to Johnny Cash's music as there because he loved them, and when he walked away, everyone had become a Johnny Cash fan. So Haggard was very interested in how rebellious he was on stage and how he did not care. So he tried to put that in his own art as well because he thought that would also get the attention. And another person who was a very important follower was Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson is one of the biggest country music stars of his day. He really enjoyed how low key and deep the voice Johnny Cash had. So he tried to copy that and make that his own as well. Along with followers, Johnny Cash also influenced a lot of people. One of them being his only son, John Carter. John Carter grew up around music, so he became very interested in it as well, which he was bound to do. And because he was around his father at all times, he learned the proper way to become a musician. He learned what not to do, what to do. He was very interested in that. Another follower was Lisa Schreiber. She directed an entire Broadway show to Johnny Cash's music because she said Johnny Cash's work had the ability to elicit such vivid images and emotions, and for a choreographer, a tremendous amount of work to do. She enjoyed the underlying meaning of all Johnny Cash's songs, so she tried to make an entire show, and she did it very successfully, and it ran for a few years. Another group that was influenced was Shuggy Records. They made an entire CD lullaby version of Johnny Cash's music for younger children to listen to as they were growing up. So they wanted to do this to see how the young people reacted. A lot of people really liked it. A lot of people still use it today. So I wish to show this as this is actually one of my songs. So the song that I chose to perform was Johnny Cash's version of You Are My Sunshine. Now that's not a very common Johnny Cash song. Not a lot of people would choose that. But I chose it for a specific reason. Because in Johnny Cash's rockstar life, he developed a huge drug problem, and that really affected his music and his family life. His songs began to take dark twisted turns, and he talked about hurting himself, and it was very dark and unusual, and a lot of people were beginning to be a little skeptical of it. His family, his wife more was becoming a little concerned, and she told him that if he did not stop taking drugs, she was going to take him out of the house, which he often did because he would not listen. He would lie about taking drugs and kind of hide from her. So whenever he got kicked out of the house, he would sing this song to her. He would try, as if to say, I love you, and I miss you, and please let me come back home because you're my sunshine. And it often worked, almost every single time it did. And he opened every concert with this, so you can always kind of tell when he was in trouble with his wife because he opened all his concerts with this song. So I was trying to incorporate a few things of his performance, all black, like he did. Also, when I sing, I'm going to try and stay in one spot and try not to move around. That's what he did when he was on stage. This provided a lot of challenges for me because I'm personally not a singer. I didn't consider school for singing. And also because Johnny Cash's voice is very low, as you all know, so I had to switch the pitch of these songs. So in a way, it might sound a little different, but I feel like the way that I perform it will help you understand the platform. And also because I like to move around when I perform. I like to, get the audience's attention, but I had to kind of force myself to get in the habit of just staying here when I sing. So that really put a challenge on me as well. Okay, so I'm gonna sing. very skilled at the guitar. I can do a few songs and I know a few keys, but a lot of the songs that he does, they have a lot of like bar chords, and I'm not that skilled. I kind of just learned the basics. And also, I was trying to learn more of the songs, but I kind of was like, I like the song that I did now. And I didn't really have enough time to try to learn the guitar. I know it's probably really simple, but I didn't want to have to do all of myself off, and I didn't have to worry about the guitar and all that stuff. So it was kind of like, I don't know, I wasn't really prepared enough to use the guitar.
Okay, Ariel, I have a couple questions for you. First, really nice speech. Okay, I want to compliment you on that. You have a very, very strong speaking voice. I'm guessing that comes from your theater background, which I believe you have taken. So that shows a really excellent job. I was able to hear you, and I think you were a little nervous, but at the same time you were able to announce that as well with your presence in the speaker. So I commend you on that. I have some questions about his art and your thesis. You talked a lot about his performance style in your talk, and the artists who you cited seemed like they were particularly drawn to his performance style, also like Steve, and then essentially Nelson and the voice quality, which is not so different. But your thesis talks a bit about the dark genre and how that's really what changed, right, American art. So can you talk to me a little bit more about why he was drawn to that theme? You mentioned a little bit that he was successful with these and that he wanted to be able to write what he wanted to write about, but I didn't get a sense as to why he was particularly drawn to darker themes, and I'm curious if you know of artists who are doing the same thing.
Okay. So Johnny Cash, as I said, he was, competing with Elvis, and as I said, Elvis was writing a lot of happy songs, very happy and upbeat, and he found that he was kind of like, I could do the same thing, but that would probably not really get me the same attention. So he was kind of like, well, if I wrote about this kind of stuff, then I could also get the same attention. And also, he was, as I said, he had been on a lot of drugs, so that also didn't help because it was kind of made him spiral a little bit. So the drugs made him write a lot more darker things because he was just kind of like, at that point, like, I don't care, I can write about whatever I wanted to. And his experiences in life also helped him. Like, he had almost witnessed his brother's death, and what he had seen when his brother died, that also kind of changed him as a person, and that really made him want to write about dark things, and it kind of got him the same amount of attention. And people, there's a lot of people who write about all this crazy stuff. There's a lot of artists now who kind of write about.
So do you have like concrete examples from your research or conversations from your, do you have conversations on the filter to kind of that kind of verify this idea that writing in this dark genre is attributed to